all for being here tonight to celebrate with us and support us. Tonight, October 5th, 2012, the Franciscan Manzanita is officially listed and protected under the Endangered Species Act. And in addition to that, there is a proposal to designate several acres of San Francisco land as critical habitat for the Franciscan Manzanita. When that is final, that will be the first time that San Francisco land has been protected for an endangered species. So that's amazing. And I just want to say, of course, we wouldn't be here celebrating today if it wasn't for some amazing organizations. And the leader in this effort, Wild Equity Institute, the Center for Biological Diversity, and the California Native Plant Society co-sponsored in the petition. So let's give a big thank you to these organizations. I do want to toast, I want us all to toast to that. Before I do that, I want to give the floor to the man that made it happen, the biggest fighter in the environment movement, and one of my big inspirations, Mr. Brent Later.
Here. Thank you, Roxy, for hosting this fantastic event here at 518 Valencia Street. Let's give a hand for the location as well. As Roxy mentioned, this is the first day, the legal birthday of this newly listed endangered plant, the Franciscan Manzanita, and it isn't a lot of places in the world where we can have a celebration for an endangered plant like this, but San Francisco, this is one of the many ways it's unique, and we are very excited to have a small role in bringing this plant back to the brink extinction. But of course, it starts with the ecology and the biology, and there are several plant specialists in the room with us tonight that have helped make this a reality. In fact, in the back row, who it turns out graduated from my same high school year after me, and we didn't even know it until tonight. Michelle Laskowski helped bring me stuff. And on top of that, Dr. Mike Vasey from San Francisco State. And our co-petitioner from the California Native Plant Society. I'll turn it over now. Brett's going to come on up here from CNPS and say a few words about the Manzanita for us.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you, Brent, for being the lead attorney on making this really happen. And it really is a fantastic story. And in a minute, I'm going to ask Michael Macy here to say a few things. But the California Native Plant Society was one of the co-petitioners, and there's just one single plant left in the wild. Daniel Blusenkamp, who's our very current executive director, just hired for the California Native Plant Society. He's in Southern California, and he asked if I could come up from Santa Cruz and say hello and say thank you to everybody. So that's why I'm here. And if you don't know about the California Native Plant Society, I think you want to. You can find out about us. There's a chapter locally just around the corner called the Your Appointed Chapter, and there's 36 chapters statewide. And we've been devoted now for almost 50 years in protecting our native flora. So several botanic gardens. I haven't worked for one, Santa Cruz. We're involved in growing the Arctostaphylos franciscana from this one single plant. There are about 4 or 5 other clones that have existed in botanic gardens for the last 40 years. And I was trying to bring somebody who was very close to that, this woman named Susie Roundtree, who is the daughter of Lester, or not the daughter, the great-granddaughter of Lester Roundtree, who was this famous botanist who snuck into the cemetery at Laurel Hills before they exhumed all the graves and turned it into a housing tract. And she stole one of those manzanitas. And it's still growing in Rancho Santa Ana Botanic Garden. And as Michelle could tell you, what people are going to try to do is bring all these clones back in and take them to that critical habitat that Brent just spoke about and actually create a new plant community. So, I'd like to come on up, if that's okay.
That'd be great.
Tell us a few things about the Arctostaphylos.
Thank you, Brett.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it really is cool. Happy birthday to Arctostaphylos franciscana. And when you're talking about a birthday, we're talking about the birthday of a species. Yeah, wonderful that we had an individual survive miraculously. I won't go into all the details of how amazing it is that this one little plant managed to survive in this little concrete box in what's called a gore point on a freeway. But it's phenomenal, actually. But one individual plant is not a species, right? It's not a species, it's just an individual. What makes a species is a population. And so what we have now as a result, and I want to thank Brent Plater so much for his work in bringing us to this point where we actually have Arctocephalus franciscana listed as an endangered species, and we're about to, within a month, probably designate a critical habitat plan. And that critical habitat will identify several places in San Francisco where we can potentially grow populations of Arctocephalus franciscana, and we will derive those populations from individuals that were harvested in the dead of night during a wild and crazy period of time back in the late 1930s through the early, through basically 1946. That was a period of time when the Board of Supervisors, in their wisdom, decided, hey, we got to dig up all those bodies in Laurel Hill, Masonic, and so on, send them down to Coma, and then we're going to just pave it over, and we're going to put up stuff like Sears. But, 1941, there was a war. Oh, wow, we got to kind of hold off on everything. Slow it down. You guys know this. This is the way the world works, right? Okay, we got to shut it down. 5 years. All the botanists, there was no Endangered Species Act in 1941. But all these botanists are going, no, you can't. This is the last population of Arctocephalus franciscana. You can't do it. So what did they do? They snuck in. They harvested little pieces. James Roof went when the bulldozers came in and drove out the last population of Arctocephalus franciscana. He was there going, hey, take this piece and put it over here, put it in this truck, and I'll take it over to East Bay Botanical Garden. Okay, and he did. And all of a sudden we have like maybe 5 or 6, 4, 3, we don't know yet. We still have to do the genetic analyses on it. The bottom line is we got individuals, different genotypes of these, members of this population, of this species, that we can now take cuttings, bring them together, put populations out in different places of San Francisco, and bring back not only the Arctocephalus franciscana, but chaparral, which is what this entity it's its habitat. When you establish a community of Manzanitas, you got a chaparral. So anyway, we're about to see chaparral come back to San Francisco, as well as Arctocephalus franciscana, which I think is fabulous. And thank you, Greg. Thank you for Wild Equity. I really appreciate what you've done.